Here, so let's bring in Foxhall Capital Management Chief Investment Officer Paul Dietrich. He says every investor must answer 3 key questions to survive and to make money. That's what we're about here at Fox Business. And these 3 questions, are they pertaining to the U.S. markets, the global markets? Got to be global, right?
It's got to be global, and these things are very, very worrisome for the stock market for the rest of the year. I mean, let's face it, as we've been hearing, the European debt crisis in Greece is like a Damocles sword just hanging over the global economy. We might have dodged a bullet, but in June there's another tranche of huge amount of debt that Greece has to refinance. So we'll start going through this exact process again in May.
So that truly is that so-called Sword of Damocles that just dangles over the heads of everyone from the global markets to the investor here who's watching in the United States. So what do they do? How do you invest around those issues?
Well, basically, you've got that issue, you've got slowing growth. 50% of all the profits of S&P 500 companies come from Europe, Asia, and emerging markets. And so as
the world is that number
no, that's revenues,
okay,
but profits come from is 50%. And so what we have here is we're going to see slowing growth in Europe's in recession, Japan is flatlining, we have anemic growth, Asian emerging markets are slowing. All of these things are going to affect profits. And so we are not going to see the good profit earnings reports that we saw in the fourth quarter.
Let's keep in mind, too, the U.S. dollar is stronger because of the fear trade. Eventually, Europe has got to come to some type of resolution. When that happens, will the dollar lose steam, and what then starts to gain?
It's going to get worse before it gets better,
okay.
Because a lot of people believe that Greece is probably going to default in June. That's when the Germans, they're not going to keep any of their promises. I mean, people are rioting in the streets of Athens. The Germans are not going to continue to finance, and people don't believe they're going to keep their promises. The elections are in April, and the new prime minister is completely opposed to what's going on right now. All of these things are causing a run on banks, and that is increasing the dollar and making it very, very strong in the United States. It's also one of the reasons the gold is going up. These are the 2 safe havens for people.
Right now, we should mention that we've got a lower third banner here of breaking news, and that is that the Greek finance minister, yesterday it was the Greek conservative leader, now it's the Greek finance minister, in essence saying that Monday, as Ashley Webster reported, would be the day that we would have the debt swap announced. Does that give more credibility to moving higher for our markets?
I have not talked to anyone at the International Monetary Fund that believes that Greece is going to keep any of the promises that it's made over the last few days.
Do you talk to people at the IMF?
I certainly do. I live in Washington, D.C.
Okay.
And nobody believes they're going to keep these promises. And so we will know by June when the next tranche is coming up. And that is the U.S. dollar will stay strong till that. If Greece defaults, the U.S. dollar will be strong. But then after that settles down, then the U.S. dollar will go down.
Paul is going to tell you how to invest around this. That's what we want to do. Whatever the news is, we can try and at least make you money, and Paul is going to do that coming up. The closing bell ringing in 49 minutes. Is the auto industry really back? Roger Penske thinks so.